Welcome back to Andy Tube. This is a Singer clamshell style foot pedal or foot controller. It's a later model than the original button style that they used for a few decades. It comes in a few different varieties, including a 2-speed one. This is a part number 613776-010, and it's a 0.7 amps, just like the same amp as the button style. And you can see that somebody's peeled off the slide resisting coating from the canvas backing and cut a hole to get access to the screw to open it up. And it sounds kind of loose inside, like there's loose parts, and I've hooked it up to a Model 338, and because it has the right cord for that. And I've got it plugged in, and it turns on, the light on the machine comes on, but I don't get any kind of response at all. Nothing. And to me it doesn't seem to be depressing. The pedal return spring is popping it back up, but to me it's only going about, I don't know, a third or halfway down, and I'm not getting anything. So I'm going to unplug that before anything weird happens. And I've tested it. I know it's not working. I'm going to open it up and repair it, restore it, clean it, see if I can salvage it. So welcome to part 1 of a Singer clamshell style foot pedal or foot controller restoration. I'm going to clear this off and get some tools set up, and we'll get started. These type of foot pedals, you won't need too many tools here. I just used some straight blade screwdrivers, a pair of pliers to remove the cord strain relief, and if it's really tough you might need 2 pairs of pliers to loosen that. That's the main thing. I use a Dremel or metal polish on the copper springs, and if they're really damaged or pitted, we may get into doing a little soldering. But please be sure that you wear your safety equipment to protect your eyes, since you'll be working with tools. And you should have everything unplugged from the machine and the wall outlet. Shouldn't be any electricity. Most of these do not have any type of a capacitor in there, so they don't store electricity. Some of the newer ones that I have not opened may have, so if you've just unplugged it, go ahead and put some pressure on it, and don't open it for a couple minutes so it can dissipate. To open this, there's a screw in the back here, and as I mentioned, somebody's removed the rubber or vinyl pad here that keeps it from slipping. Now these come in a few varieties. You may have some with little pads on the corners to keep it from slipping, but normally what you can do, even when the pad is on there, is feel along, and you'll feel a depression in this area that it gives. And then you can poke a hole with your screwdriver and go down in there and wiggle around until you find the screw. Every one that I've ever done is a straight, a standard straight blade screwdriver. And we want to go in and take that screw out or loosen it. And while I'm doing that, I want to tell you, please, as you go along here, take pictures, so that if you do disassemble this, you will know how to put all the little pieces back. Well, I can see somebody's definitely been in here and didn't tighten things back up. You can remove this screw all the way, and I think at the end of this first part 1 I'm going to put up a picture. You can pause the video and print out a diagram of all the parts, and you can label the parts and number them what you want and put them in corresponding cups or baggies or whatever. You know, you could go on your printout and call this part number 1 closure screw, for example, and this should actually kind of be down in here more, and this clamp tightened up. So this would be a good place to start taking some pictures so that you can label your pictures, or you'll know what to do when it comes time to put things back together, right? So take a couple pictures here, and we've got dust and lint. Alright, get some parts holders up here. Now it's usually recommended that you remove the cord. If you don't want to do that, you can remove the contacts here and work around the cord if you prefer. I'm going to take it out because I'm going to put a different cord, a blue cord that matches that 338. So these little springs are called the pedal return springs. They make the pedal come back when you remove pressure. And to take those out, you can just grab them towards the base and kind of turn them clockwise and pull a little bit, and they should pop right out. So these are your pedal return springs. And this is your carbon resistance unit right here. So inside here are little carbon discs like in the button style controller, if you saw that. So we want to remove that. There's a resistant unit clamp that holds it in place, and a resistance unit screw. And again, this is good time to take pictures, and you can label what these are if you like, so that you won't have a problem putting them back together. When you go to take this out, we'll just push it a little bit to the right, and yeah, does this one go left? Okay, this one goes left. Push it a little to the left. This is a little springy, and lift it out. So here's your carbon resistance unit, and we're just going to put that aside for now. And let's take a look at this cord here. I want to loosen these two contact screws that hold the cord to the springs. So just going to take out the little screws. There's on these, there's a little square washer. Yep, come on you. I guess I didn't get that loose enough. Let's continue a little more. Now, some of these I've opened up don't have a screw. They have just a clip, a wire clip on the end. So if yours isn't looking exactly the same as this, don't be surprised. There we go. So we'll take out that little screw, and if I drop the little washer in there, I'll dig it out in a minute. Let's get the other one. So you can see this is going to have some little fiddly parts, and you're going to have to keep track of them. So some pictures you take in my video, and especially if you print out that parts list, you should be able to do it okay. Keep track of everything. Sometimes under this inside is a little washer or a nut, and if you happen to have a nut that slides out, don't be surprised about that either. Let's see if I can get this square washer on. Here we go. So this has a square type washer that goes over the ring to make good contact and to keep it flat. So what happened to that other washer? There it is. Here's the other washer. Okay. And now a little unknown part fell out. And I don't remember what that part is right at the moment. I think that's the shorting strap spring. But I'll put that aside for the moment because I still want to get this cord out of here. Okay, let's work on the cord next. Okay. Holding the cord in place is a little metal strap down here, and it's called the strain relief clip. And it's just a metal strap, and it's got two screws. On the bottom are two nuts, one of which will fall out here, even with the rubber cover. You see how that corner's exposed? So one will come all the way out, and the other will come all the way out, but the little nut usually stays in here under the cover. Let's see if we can get in there. Make sure I'm still in the camera here. And loosen this two screws that hold the strain relief clip. So on the button type, it was pressure from the upper and lower covers that put the strain relief on the cord. This newer style has a slightly different molded cord end, and it's got a place for this strain relief clip to lay in. You'll see it better when you get out. See if I've got that screw enough out here. So there's the little nut from the one. Oh, it's getting loose, but not quite. So you've actually got to take that strap out, and then there'll be another like a strain relief clip to remove, because this cord doesn't lift off, it pulls out. Let me get our needle nose in here and see if I can get that strap and the screws out. See what I tell you about these fiddly parts here. Kind of a snug fit in here, isn't it? I wanted to give you a little closer look at that strap across there. You can see there's a screw here and a screw up on this end. Just a little silver metal strap. Let's see if we can. One of the screws came out there. Let's see if we can get that other. We'll get that strap up here now. It's loose, it's just fiddly and doesn't want to come out. I'm pretty sure I got this other screw off of the nut, but let's do a little bit more and see. So you can see why some people just loosen the contacts, there we go, and don't remove all the cord completely. So there's the strap with one screw left in it. And now you're going to see this strain relief piece. You see this kind of U-shaped metal piece? And it's got, I don't know, kind of like a cardboard thing in there that the cord slides into. So if you can pull that off of the cord, that's great. Sometimes you have to bend it a little bit. Let's see if I can just hold on to it and twist the cord towards the opening in the U and pull it out. Yeah, it's kind of tough. So, let's see if I can try that again. Maybe that's a piece of plastic, not cardboard. So I got one wire out of the strain relief. See that? So the strain relief is pretty loose now. I don't know if I could just pull it off there. Okay. So there we go. Now the cord should just pull right out of here. Just be careful of the circled tips. There we go. So this is the difference in the molded, and that's where the little strap, when you go to put that back in, that's where the little strap lays, right across there. So now we can get this cord out of here, and if I can get this working, I'll put the different blue cord that matches my blue sewing machine. Okay. I think I mentioned in the promo, you can replace a button style with this, and I have customers that like this 338, I imagine is going to be used as a portable machine, as a case and stuff. And a lot of people find this clamshell type easier to use with a portable machine. It's more comfortable and easier to use. So a lot of times when a button controller has failed, I'll buy a used clamshell, which is usually a few years newer, and switch cords on it. Okay, we're doing real good here. Inspecting this, it's not too bad. This is called the Actuating Spring, and I'd like to take it out, but it's a little tricky because there's this like push-on fastener down here. It's like a washer with with a hole punched in it, and kind of like little triangular shapes, and so it doesn't twist off. You can't get to anything. It's just a post down there with this washer, and if you break this washer or bend that clip too much, you cannot get it back on. I don't know if you can buy a replacement at the hardware store, but I've had pretty good luck by just taking a small screwdriver and going under the edge and kind of trying to twist the screwdriver left and right a little bit to try and edge that up, and just pry it off the top without damaging it. And I did break one time, and I ended up gluing it back on, which did work okay. And but it's a lot better if you take your time and try and pry it loose. And if you don't feel you want to do that, then don't. Yeah, this one is pretty stubborn. Let's see. I guess if I break it, I can show you how I glued the other one on. Well, I guess you could make your own. There we go. Whew. See if I can get that off. Okay. So from the bottom side of it, just looks like a washer, right? And here's the side view and a top view. See, it's got like a little cone shape and the little flexible pieces there that slide over the post and put pressure on it. So this one came off pretty clean. I guess that's the best tip, is go very slow. Don't force it. So here's the retaining post, and there's two guide posts on either side. So this end of the actuating spring can be removed, but there's like a retaining screw at this end, of course, so we want to remove that. All the screws I've ever found on these come out pretty easily, and I've had a couple with a little rust on them and stuff, but and they've all been straight blade screwdriver style. Don't forget to take your, it's a good reminder to me too, don't forget to take your pictures as you go, right? About how these things go back together. And there's that screw and washer. Now we can take this actuating spring gently up. So this plastic protruded piece here, when you're working the foot pedal, you can see the marks maybe. Can you see the rub marks there? Pushes down on that actuating spring, and underneath it makes contact with this contact spring. And sometimes this is very pitted out, burned out. And this one is very nice shape, which tells me it didn't get used that much. So I'll be able to. This will just be a cleaning and a little polishing, but it's not damaged at all. So I guess let's continue to get this thing disassembled. With this contact spring has a spacer on the top and bottom. They're just made out of plastic. So this is why I say, you know, take pictures as you go, so that when you go to put this back together, you'll kind of remember the sequence. This is kind of like a little a little shoe flat on the bottom where it contacts the spring, and slanted on the top for adjustments. And then here is the contact spring, and it's dirty, but the contact part here is not burnt or pitted at all. Very nice. So the contact's kind of like that. That's when it makes contact, and they're in great shape. I mean, they're dirty, you know, but we can clean and polish this up, but it's not all pitted or holes burned in it or anything like that. And then where we remove that top contact spacer, this is the bottom contact spacer. Okay, kind of looks like a Lego thing, and a little bit curved to match the other for adjustments, and flat on the bottom. And there's that little nut. For the where the screw connected the wire, there's the little nut housing. So we'll take that out, put that back in there and get a picture of it. So when this all goes back together, you got to kind of do it in reverse, and it kind of stacks up, and if you get the spacer wrong or upside down, of course it's going to make a problem for you, you know. But there's the bottom spacer for that contact spring. So it's kind of sitting in there like this. Right? Whoop. Flat side down. And then the screw there, that it can adjust a little bit to show how far it moves. But that's kind of how it goes back in there after it's all clean. Okay. Then on the bottom here, you've got the shorting spring. And it's just going to lift right out. So that's how the whole assembly works and goes back together. And it's going like this. And when you push on the pedal from the top, this pedestal pushes here, and it's going to push down like that. And it's going to make contact. And that's where you may need on the button controller we had the screw on the end that adjusted the spring and how far compress. This is going to be contact and full contact, shorting it out. Okay, so what's left in here is, I think that little piece, I said, what's that? That goes here, and we'll see when we put that back together with that assembly, that can adjust the carbon unit, how much it's compressed and not before you start. So you don't want those contacts to be closed before you press on the pedal. It's got to be a little space. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll show you that when we get there. Okay. Now there is it's called the shorting strap. I remember that now, shorting strap. So there is one little more metal piece down in here that holds that shorting strap and has an adjustment screw, but I don't take that out unless I can see it's damaged or I can't get the pedal to work properly. If you want to take it out, there's one screw down here that removes it, and then it lifts out. But This now, the hinges are good on this. Hinges are not damaged. Sometimes they're pulled away or broken off of the plastic here, or even up here. You can see that they're glued, but there's little holes in the metal. So if the glue has broken off, if the hinge has broken away, you can drill a little hole. See, there's already a hole in the metal. Drill the plastic out and put a tiny nut and washer through there. I've had that a couple times, but this foot pedal is in great shape, really. I don't know why somebody opened it up and played with it. But this is ready to be cleaned, so I'll try at the end of this video, but for sure down in the description I'll put a link to the video from the if you have not seen it, from the button style controller on how I clean the cords and the small parts. So you can get that all cleaned up, and then part 2 I'm going to show you how to we'll polish all these metal parts and check them. Okay, so watch the video how to clean this, and you want to clean your plastic housing, and you want to clean the cord, your cord. Okay, and then we'll see you for part 2. Thanks for watching. Take care.